Good late Saturday afternoon or early evening, depending on how you consider it. This is Jacob Melton live here with West Michigan Weather, and we are joining you because the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of the coverage area. We have it here on radar. The National Weather Service has issued in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for portions of Kent, Ionia, Berry, and Eaton counties, and this goes until 6 o'clock this evening. Again, the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern portions of Kent County, eastern sections of Berry County, southwestern sections of Ionia County, and west central sections of Eaton County. In our coverage area, this again goes till 6 o'clock. At 5:14 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near the Freeport area or near Hastings, and this storm is moving off to the southeast at around 25 miles per hour. Primary hazards with these storms are 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Radar indicated a few locations impacted by this potential severe thunderstorm include the Hastings area, the Lake Odessa area, Nashville, the Freeport area, Vermontville, Woodland, Clarksville, the Dowling area, and Banfield. For your protection, if you are in these areas, you'll want to move to an interior room, preferably on the lowest floor of a building, preferably away from windows. So, taking a look at radar here, reflectivity product. We've had these pop-up showers and thunderstorms ongoing throughout the afternoon that have fired off a lake breeze boundary near the US 131 corridor. And these storms, for the most part, have been sub-severe, but now we've had one that has flared up just enough to reach severe threshold. So the core of this storm now is kind of moving into the Hastings area, near Freeport, towards the Carlton area, back towards Lake Odessa. And we'll go ahead and switch here from the how hard is it raining mode over towards velocity. And it looks like your classic downburst type situation here. We are showing one of those near the Campbell Corners area. That could be a potential area of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And same back towards the Welcome Corner area. Now we'll be moving towards Hastings over the next several minutes as this moves off to the southeast. Over towards Freeport as well. That'll be moving out of your area over the next few minutes. There's a couple areas which I will attempt to highlight here. This is a couple areas we are watching for potential damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Just with these downburst type signatures that are showing up on radar here. So we'll clear that out. Let's go back to reflectivity. And we are showing an area of 60 dBz, 1 dBz pixel there, southeast of the Campbell Corners area, southwest of Lake Odessa. That will be heading towards the Woodland area over the next few minutes. And Levi in the chat saying hello. Hello, Levi. Thank you for tuning in here. This is on the Discord chat, actually, so thank you. Anyways, let's go back to, let's take a look at another product we have here. That is going to be vertical integrated liquid. Give me just a moment here while I put the right header. There we go. And as you see, there's a few areas we're watching. Actually, we're just getting a new scan in here now. Unfortunately, this product, at least on this weather-wise system we're using here, is a little bit delayed. But there's a couple areas we are watching moving into the Hastings area. And then towards the Lake Odessa area, you see these, where it gets up into the purples here. That is generally where we're watching for hail potential, up to quarter size per the severe thunderstorm warning. And that is also where you could get your area of higher winds up to 60 miles per hour as well, is within these cores of these storms. So we'll go back to reflectivity here. Let me switch the header back again. And we'll take a general look at our radar across all of West Michigan. Again, we continue with the severe thunderstorm warning primarily to the south and east of Grand Rapids, primarily for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. These are the pop-up storms we've been watching throughout the day. We had some special weather statements earlier, especially to the north. Grand Rapids, but these storms currently near the Mount Pleasant area, they have been on a weakening trend over the last several minutes. But we are also paying attention to additional strong to severe thunderstorms on the other side of the lake, back in northeast Illinois towards the Chicago area, and an additional line back and moving into southeast Wisconsin as we speak towards the Milwaukee area. There has been several severe thunderstorm warnings with this activity. In fact, we've seen reports of larger hail and high winds with these storms heading towards the Chicago area now. We were monitoring earlier as I animate this to see if it was gonna cross the lake just enough to have this round of storm clip far southwest lower Michigan. I'm still not gonna fully rule out that possibility just in case we get some additional development on the east side. However, it is most likely at this point that this activity will miss just to the southwest of Berrien County in our area. It'll mainly stay over Lake Michigan and continue to move across Illinois into portions of northwest Indiana. But we are watching this additional line of strong to severe thunderstorms. In fact, let me switch to the Milwaukee radar. We will have to watch and see what these storms do as they cross the lake. As they are moving off to the southeast, this has the potential, assuming it holds together as it crosses the lake. This line will be the one that will tend to impact potentially portions of southwest Michigan. Based on current trajectory, I think it will be from Muskegon areas and point south. Let me kind of draw what I'm trying to hint at here. But these storms are moving like this for the most part, give or take a little bit. But I do tend to think that it will be from Muskegon and point south that we'll have to watch later on this evening for potential additional strong to severe thunderstorm activity as this line of storm continue to move off to the southeast. Again, this will depend on when these storms can make it, but as of right now, we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings heading towards the Milwaukee area, primarily for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that is another thing we are watching. We continue with a severe thunderstorm watch to the west, just to the west of us for across portions of Wisconsin and Illinois. And we will have to see, depending on what these storms do. I would not fully rule out potentially watch issuance maybe for southeast lower Michigan. I have not seen anything from the Weather Service regarding that, but that is something we are watching. And actually, it looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming down the wire here. And this is for portions of Ingham County. Portions of Ingham County, we are now under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 6:15 this evening. And this is for a cell near the Williamston area. And this is also warned for the potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. I'll go ahead and read off the warning text on this one. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern portions of Ingham County until 6:15 p.m. this evening. At 5:28 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Williamston, or 7 miles to the northwest of Mason. And then one thing I will note about this one, it is nearly stationary. Again, this one's not really moving all that much at all and is nearly stationary. Again, the hazard is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Radar indicated it as our source. Potential impact includes hail damage to vehicles, wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees will also be a possibility. A few locations impacted. It does list the Lansing area. However, if you're in Lansing proper, this one's generally going to stay to your south and east. Williamston, the Weberville area, Okemos, and Hazlitt. So we'll zoom in a little bit. Again, it is technically listing the Lansing area, but Lansing proper and most of East Lansing, you are not in this. You're not affected by this particular storm. This is primarily towards Meridian area, over towards Williamston as well. Nicholas Smith in the chat saying getting dark in DeWitt. That does make sense. We do have some you're likely seeing it from these storms off to our west, and there's also some generally weakening showers and storms off to your northwest as well. Again, nothing impressive of this activity mainly north of I-96. This has been on a weakening trend, but it would make sense you're noticing skies get darker there in DeWitt, mainly for the activity off to your southwest and to your southeast now. And that's the thing about these storms, these pop-up storms. They haven't been moving all that quickly because we don't have much in the way of shear overhead. Not too much in the way to move these storms. So they're just going to kind of either slowly move, or in the case of the cell near Williamston, they'll kind of sit over, they'll just kind of sit around. And that introduces an additional concern of the potential for localized flooding. We'll go to our 1 hour preset product, and right there near the Meridian area, this is radar estimated over 2 inches within the past hour. Over the Meridian area. Again, this is radar estimated. May not exactly represent what is actually on the ground, but again, very, very heavy rainfall with these storms, especially if they sit over the same area. That is how you can get some localized flooding issues. In fact, if I go back to reflectivity, take that off, we do have a flood advisory. This is out of our area, but over towards Livingston County, near the Brighton area. And that just goes to show, it's just with these storms not moving all that fast, you can get heavy rainfall in a short period of time. It does look like we have a new special weather statement coming in for portions of Ionia, Berry, and Eaton counties. This is for a nickel-size hail and 55-mile-per-hour winds. This is just below severe criteria, so if you're near the Lake Odessa, Sunfield, and Mulliken areas...
Hey, Jacob, from Jonah, when you've got a second.
Yep, let me address this real quick from Jonah. All right, what you got, Jonah?
I just wanted to give you a heads up with really 3 things. They have issued a new special marine warning for our area in terms of the National Weather Service Chicago County warning area that we cover over Lake Michigan. That continues for 50-knot winds. Winds in excess of 50 knots, which would be severe if they did indeed continue to move towards Berrien County and clip southwestern Berrien County. Additionally, the National Weather Service in Milwaukee has issued a marine weather statement for the more northern portion of those storms that we're watching that could impact, I believe you said earlier, areas south of Muskegon later this evening.
Yep. Thank you for that, Jonah. Thanks for making me aware of both of those situations. Appreciate it. All right. So anyway, we're gonna continue watching these storms off to our north and west, as Jonah was just mentioning, as they continue to move off to the southeast. Again, portions, especially Muskegon southward, I think stands a little bit better chance. But this will be down the line. In the meantime, we're going to continue to focus on our pop-up strong to severe thunderstorms that have been ongoing. For those of you that just might be tuning into this stream here, I am with you here because the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. We have one, they just updated as a matter of fact. If you're in Kent County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning in southeastern Kent County. However, we do have heavy rainfall falling over your area, along with cloud-to-ground lightning, and you do remain under a special weather statement. So do continue to remain inside if you're in southeastern Kent County. This particular warning continues for southwestern portions of Ionia County and the west central Eaton County over towards the Vermontville area, and then towards Berry County around the Hastings area, over towards Woodland as well, over towards Freeport. We continue with this severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock. And this is continuing for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And they slowed down the motion, I believe, a little bit on this as well. Now moving only off to the southeast at 5 miles per hour. That's not very quick at all. So, again, we will also have to start to be concerned about areas of localized flooding. I don't expect it to be major flooding by any means, but we do expect it, at least the potential of localized minor flooding. Both with this activity we're what we have here now, along with this additional cell near the Williamston area. We'll take a look at Hail Tracker once again on this activity. And we'll start with the first storm as I get the header on. There we go. Okay. So I will say the activity near Hastings is not quite as significant. Neither is the Lake Odessa. Not quite as significant as we had a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, on this software, it's a little bit delayed. Let me actually take a look behind the scenes at another source. And I do continue to agree that it might be on the decline a little bit, at least with the hail core on this activity. That might be good from a hail perspective, although I do see still the potential for quarter-size hail, potentially most likely smaller, but still some potential for quarter-size hail. But that could also mean as that's heading down as that collapses, the hail cores collapse. That's how you can get damaging winds as well. We'll take a look at the velocity real quickly. Looks like I need to take that header off manually. There we go. And we are continuing to show some higher wind potential over the Hastings area. And then in addition, and then northwest of there towards the Middleville State Game area, we are showing some higher velocities as well. Again, as these cores collapse, that the wind spread out, that's how you get your gusty to
Hey
damaging
Jacob,
winds.
I am in the live voice channel in Discord.
Give me just a second while I get there. Okay, I got you on Discord now, so let me unmute. Okay, so back with you live here. Let me get him set up real quick, actually. So. Bear with me just a second, guys. Switch window over to Discord. There we go. We got you now, Jonah. Okay. So, anyway, where I was at, we're continuing to watch this sell off to the west near Hastings. I am noticing while we're on velocity, what might be a little bit of rotation near the Meridian area with this storm. Nothing terribly tight or anything, but again, maybe some signs of broad rotation there near the Meridian area, which I think could at least put in some potential for gustier winds there as well. Again, that is near the Meridian area. I'm watching this. Nothing imminent in terms of tornado potential today, and unless we get some storm interaction or something like that, I don't foresee tornado potential to be a big issue today, but nonetheless, something we are watching. So let's go back to reflectivity. And honestly, this cell's kind of spreading out a little bit, at least in the last scan, which again does continue with the localized flooding potential, with these storms not moving quickly at all. In fact, nearly stationary according to the last update we have from the National Weather Service, although the newest scan does return a potential hail core near the Meridian area. So if you're in Meridian, Williamston as well, as that continues to move southeast towards the Pollock area, you'll want to be inside, preferably on that lowest floor away from windows. And that's the same with both of these storms near the Hastings area as well. So, Jonah, do you want any input? Anything you have to input real quick?
No, I was just about to say the same thing. That cell that was impacting southeastern portions of Kent and is now entirely impacting Ionia and Berry County looks like it's weakening a little bit. At least over the last couple of scans, it's becoming a lot more messy, both on reflectivity and velocity. The only other thing I'll note is that our line of storms up near Sheboygan and Oshkosh, Wisconsin are also weakening a little bit. I'm only seeing velocities up near 40 to 50 miles per hour now.
Yep, I do agree with that. So, yeah. Again, these storms we're going to have to continue to watch as they cross the lake, just in case we do see some impacts, primarily across southwest Michigan. But if they continue with this weakening trend, then I'm not saying we won't rule out storm activity entirely, but I think the severe potential, if they continue to weaken, at least will begin to back off a little bit. So,
yeah. The stuff back near Chicago even seems a little bit less organized.
yeah, take a look at that real quick. Again, we're still thinking that's going to miss to the southwest of Michigan at this point in time. But again, yeah, that's also starting to show at least a little bit of a weakening trend as well. But as of right now, our primary concern is these pop-up storms at the short term, as they continue to pulse up at least briefly, and then they'll pulse down. But again, it looks like this is a side note near the Ann Arbor area, new severe thunderstorm warning as well. So again, for those of you that are just joining us here, we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of Ionia, Berry, and Eaton counties, and then Ingham County as well. And that is for these pop-up storms that we've had throughout the afternoon, started near the 131 corridor off of a lake, what is believed to be a lake breeze boundary. They have fired up from there, and then they've just been kind of continuing through the afternoon and evening. Those of you north of 96, we had some storms earlier, and for the most part, they've been decaying, although I will say maybe one pulsed up again briefly, but that's outside of our coverage area towards Midland. So north of 96, there's not really a whole lot going on right now. Just maybe some lighter shower activity, potentially a little bit heavier rain near the Shepherd area, but nothing of urgent concern. Maybe a couple of cloud lightning strikes there, but nothing of severe concern at this point. Although they did just put out a special weather statement actually for that Midland storm, but that's outside our coverage area, so I continue to focus.
Looks like the Milwaukee office is also opting to issue new special weather statements for 50 mile per hour winds rather than severe thunderstorm warnings for 60 mile per hour winds as that line of storms approaches the Milwaukee area.
I was about to say, I saw one. Was this the one near Madison there that you're seeing? Or do we have a new
it is. There's one near Madison there, and there's also a new one that just got issued right along the lakeshore there, north of Milwaukee, up towards Sheboygan.
Okay, yep, I see it now. So it was just kind of blending in with the severe thunderstorm warning there, but yep.
Yeah.
So that is potentially a good sign, because when they start issuing special weather statements instead of warnings, that means these storms are generally declining just a little bit. So we'll have to see how that does as that crosses the lake over time.
Jacob, if you go over to our Ionia and Berry County storm, you look at velocity and you animate it, you can see the storm in the process of collapsing. It's almost imploding in on itself right now.
Yeah. You can see that quite clearly there near the Hastings area. I can see that. So, yeah. And kind of maybe the same thing with that special weather statement one as well. So, again, that is as the hail cores that flare up with these storms as they collapse. That is what we're describing here. As the cores of these storms collapse, the winds spread out and then become less intense with time. But right when they start collapsing, that's where you can get your potential areas of wind damage, which would have been likely there northwest of Hastings, or would have been most likely for that. But again, as in the kind of towards the Middleville and Irving or Ivering area is where we're watching that, towards Freeport as well. So, but again, that's starting to back off a little bit, and we're still watching this cell near the Lake Odessa area. That could be another area as well. Again, probably just some gustier winds. And we'll take a
I
look
do
at...
see some isolated power outages in that area near Irving, as well as Campbell Corners, south of Clarksville in Ionia County.
that up behind the scenes. Oops. Real quick. There we go. Bear with me just for a second while I get that pulled up. There we go. Behind the scenes here, and I agree with that. Just some isolated outages, but that does seem to confirm probably at least some gustier winds there. So, and I'm showing, at least in the case of the Ingham County storm, I'm not seeing too much there. Just like one
The
isolated
only other
outage.
outages I see are up near, well, really between Mecosta and Mount Pleasant.
That was with that earlier activity, so.
Right.
We'll take a look at hail tracker at you real quick on this. Keep in mind on this radar system we're using here, which is weather-wise, it's a bit of a delayed scan. As I put our header for that on there. But we do continue, again, keep in mind this is a few minutes delayed. This scan is 5:39. But at least at that point we were continuing some small hail potential near the Freeport area over towards Lake Odessa as well. Actually, Lake Odessa, that might be edging maybe some larger hail, but most likely small. Same goes for the Williamson area as well. That's backing off as well. I do see we got a new special weather statement coming in there for portions of southeastern Eaton and the southwestern Ingham counties. And that is for the potential 50-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. So again, borderline severe. Not quite there, but that is for this cell there near the Eaton Rapids area. I pull up the text real quick. Only moving to the southeast at 10 miles per hour. So these pop-up storms aren't in a hurry to move today. So
No, we're going to have to watch for
Yep.
heavy rainfall producing localized flooding as these storms start to kind of stall out.
If I pull up 1 hour preset behind the scenes, I agree with that. Looks like the heaviest rain has certainly been with that cell in Ingham County near Meridian.
Yeah.
We're approaching 3 inches of rain. This is radar estimated, so it might not exactly what's be at the surface, but definitely good potential for over 2 inches of rain there over the past hour. In 1 hour near Meridian. That's a lot in that short period of time. So, again, we'll have to continue to watch for localized flooding potential back towards our cluster of storms in the Kent, Ionia, Berry, and now Eaton counties. Not quite as intense, but I'm continuing to show over 1 inch per hour rainfall rates. Kind of near the Hastings area, back northwest towards Freeport, and also we're also near Clarksville and Lake Odessa areas. We're also seeing some likely over 1 inch per hour rainfall rates. So
there is a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center up. And the reason I bring this up is it does not include any portions of our area. It is for that complex of thunderstorms near Chicago, and this new mesoscale discussion indicates that these storms should go through a weakening trend due to a lack of shear, which is the changing of wind speed and direction with height in layman's terms. But the instability or storm fuel in that area will allow for a continued severe threat over the next couple of hours. But again, this mesoscale discussion and the subsequent warnings that are in that area near Chicago are indicating to me that this complex of storms is going to entirely miss our area. So that is good news.
Yeah, I have an outline here. So,
perfect. Thank you.
As Jonah was noticing, as Jonah was mentioning, excuse me, it does look like not only is this complex starting the weekend, as I go over to Chicago radar, there's still warnings in effect. I just turned them off to show the mesoscale discussion a bit better. But this will continue to weaken over the next, especially past the next couple of hours, and it will continue, and it will likely miss the West Michigan area, at least this complex will. We will have to continue to watch this complex back near Milwaukee. Let me get the warnings back up. But there's still statements and warnings in effect there, but even this one's starting to show a weakening trend as well. So
Yeah, especially with northern and eastern extent.
Yeah, I do think it's going to end up being this section back towards Madison that's still the strongest there. So
this is probably going to end up being one of those notorious types of events that we've had really all summer. We haven't had any notable events since May, really, where we just get a couple of special weather statements, an isolated severe warning or two, and then we're done for the day. That's kind of been the story of our lives for West Michigan, and we really could use a widespread thunderstorm event because we really need rain here in West Michigan.
Yeah, in fact, just a moment here. I can pull up the drought monitor. Yeah. Here it is again real quick, just to clean up the map a bit. But yeah, we certainly do need rain across West Michigan, and really even back towards central and into the Thumb area as well. They're north there in the Thumb region of Michigan towards the Tri-Cities. We really do need the rain across West Michigan, which, I mean, I know we've had some, again, those pop-up days, but when you get a bunch of rain in a short period of time, a lot of that just runs off too. So,
yep.
So what we really need is those widespread thunderstorms, and then just a good, steady, light to moderate rain is really what we need. So, and unfortunately, we haven't had much luck there lately. So, but again, we continue with drought. Just wanted to show this real quick. Moderate to even portions of severe drought, at least according to this drought monitor update that was released this last Thursday in the Holland area, and then more severe drought back towards the Tri-Cities. But moderate drought stretching across a good part of West Michigan, as a matter of fact, or at least in normally dry conditions. So we'll go back to radar though, and warnings back up. We do continue, if you're just joining us here, we do continue with 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of Ionia, Berry, and Eaton counties, along with our friends of Ingham County as well, near the Williamston area. We continue with these severe thunderstorm warnings, both of which are for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some quarter-size hail. The Ingham County one goes until 6:15 this evening, and the Berry, Eaton, Ionia County ones actually expires in the next few minutes at 6 o'clock. We'll have to see what the National Weather Service decides to do with that. But based on current trends, I tend to think, unless they flare back up, they could go. I tend to think they might go statement instead of warning, but we'll see, of course. But
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because, of course, we're not the ones that issues the warnings. That's our friends at the National Weather Service. But based on our interpretation of radar and our own opinions, we're tending to think this will go statement instead of warning, most likely. But we'll see what the National Weather Service decides in the next couple of minutes. So we'll take a look one more time at velocity on these storms. And yeah, not really seeing, maybe some gusty winds, but I don't see anything that would point severe to me at this point, at least from a radar perspective. So
they are dropping the marine weather statements from Sheboygan north. The marine weather statements have been canceled for that area. So really, especially if you're north of US 10, you're good. Really, if you're north of Pentwater, though, I would say you guys are pretty much in the clear from the severe weather threat at this point for the remainder of the day, unless something really crazy happens and these storms redevelop. But I don't foresee that happening. They also just updated this for thunderstorm watch across the lake and trimmed off some of the counties there as well. So overall, just continuing to see some signs of a decreasing severe weather threat in the long term. We obviously still have the ongoing severe threat for parts of Eaton County and then Berry and Ionia County as well.
Yeah.
We were talking about that flooding threat. There is a new flood advisory in effect for Okemos and Williamston, as well as Meridian to the south and east of Lansing.
Yeah. So if you're in the Okemos areas there, over towards Meridian, towards Williamston, we do have a flood advisory that's now in effect. Flooding, this is for obviously excessive rainfall. These storms pretty much sitting overhead. And radar and automated rain gauges indicated heavy rain. 1 to 3 inches of rain has fallen over the last 2 hours, with up to 2 inches of additional rainfall possible. Minor flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly in the advisory area. And some locations that will experience flooding include the Williamston, Okemos, and Hazlitt areas. So if you're in this area, if you encounter any flooded roadways, don't chance it. Turn around, find an alternative way is going to be your best bet there. So just don't chance it. So
Yep. They are allowing that severe thunderstorm warning to expire for Barry, Ionia, and Ingham County, or
Yep.
Eaton County. Excuse me. So the severe thunderstorm warning for Barry, Ionia, and Eaton is being allowed to expire.
Yeah, and that's, as I read off this text, the storm which prompted the warning has weakened below severe limits, which makes sense based on what we've been seeing. No longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, they're allowing this warning to expire. However, lightning and heavy rain will still be possible with this thunderstorm. So you'll still want to remain indoors just because it's raining and cloud ground lightning. But the severe threat, at least in the short term, from this complex of storms is done. We do continue with a special weather statement for the next little while, just in the northeast of there. And they did update actually our severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Ingham County. They're continuing with the severe thunderstorm warning, but they did back the hail off from quarter to penny size. So, which again makes sense with radar trends, but they are continuing it for a potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And again, this storm's still not moving. It's nearly stationary. So
Remember when we put that velocity in and animated that velocity earlier with our Barry and Eaton County storm, or Barry, Eaton, and Ionia, I should say? We have not seen this Ingham County storm do that quite yet. And Jacob mentioned earlier that when those storms collapse on themselves, it's at that point that those winds rush down to the surface, and we could see a 50, 60 mile per hour wind gust threat as that storm dies out. We have not seen this particular storm do that quite yet, although it might be starting to right now, actually, in this latest scan. But until that really happens, that severe threat continues, albeit low.
And I will mention that Ingham County is kind of in that weird point that's between the Grand Rapids and Detroit radars. So we don't have quite the resolution as we did with this Barry, Eaton, and Ionia County activity we had earlier. So it might not be quite as evident as it was here just because we're further away from the radars. But again, we do, as Jonah just said, we do continue with a low-end severe threat primarily for 60-mile-per-hour winds at this point, although small hail remains a possibility. And again, we will have to continue to watch for very, very heavy rainfall rates, with it not moving as well. And for the most part, it's over the same areas. So hence the flood advisory that was issued. So
we've got some isolated power outages, localized even power outages starting to pop up near Okemos. So that could be an indication, again, what we were just mentioning with velocity as this storm starts to collapse.
And I'm seeing a few actually pop up now.
Yeah.
There's a special weather statement to the southwest of that, kind of towards Eaton Rapids.
Yep.
Over in that area we're watching as well. So we'll take a look at that real quick, actually. Velocity. And nothing evident that would suggest an immediate severe threat, at least from a velocity standpoint. But actually, if we go over to Hail Tracker, and yeah, that one's starting to ramp up a little bit too. If that continues, I would not be totally surprised to see a severe warning pop up for that if it continues to ramp up. Right now, it's kind of borderline. Definitely some small hail possible with that, although it could. We're kind of edging into the large hail territory.
Yep, and they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for it.
There we go, as a matter of fact. So, severe thunderstorm warning now coming in for southeastern Eaton and southwestern Ingham counties. This goes until 6:30 this evening. And this is again for this storm that is now reaching severe limits. This is for penny-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is for the cell located near the Eaton Rapids and Petryville area. And this will be moving towards Onondaga, eventually towards Leslie and the Eden areas as well. Let me get the storm motion on that real quick. Moving to the east at 10 miles per hour. So again, story of these storms, they're not moving quick. So
Yeah, and precip accumulation already has 1 inch of rainfall near Petryville there, near Eaton Rapids. So we could very easily see a similar type flood advisory come out in the next hour or so as this storm transitions very, very slowly off to the east.
So again, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for the cell we were just mentioning for Eaton for southeastern Eaton, far southeastern sections of Eaton County, and then in the southwestern portions of Ingham County until 6:30. That is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. And this is the hail core would be there near the Petryville area that would move in southeast, primarily north of the Onondaga, maybe towards Leslie down the line, the Onondaga area, maybe towards Leslie down the line, and maybe the Eden areas as well. But again, these storms aren't moving all that quick, so just because I'm mentioning this area, that's just kind of an early heads up just in case. There's a very good chance that these will end up collapsing before they get there somewhat, but again, just something to keep in mind as these storms continue to slowly move off. So if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, which at this point, at least for now, seems to be focusing on the 127 corridor there south of Lansing. Kind of focusing on that corridor, along 96 there. But again, if you're in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, you'll want to be inside, preferably on the lowest floor. That would be most preferred. And then away from those windows as well. So just as a quick side note, if you're watching from these areas, or even from our friends back in Berry, Eaton, and Ionia counties earlier, although these storms are no longer severe, if you have any storm reports to pass along to us or damage reports, feel free to do so. Again, today we're not really particularly focused on tornado and funnel wall clouds, although if you had those are obviously we need to know that. But today we're mainly focused on hail, wind gusts, flooding, and storm-related damage. If you have any of that report to us, feel free to do so. You can do so on the chat from the platform you are watching from, which is YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. We do have the ability to monitor chat from those platforms. We will see your report. You can also tag us on your social media platforms, whether that be Facebook or Twitter as well. And or we do have a website as well where you can submit those storm reports. That is going to be www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Once again, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. And we do ask you only submit a report if you can do so safely. Don't put yourself out in the middle of the danger of these storms just to get a hail size report to us or something like that. We would rather see a damage report after the fact, or hail maybe after it's moved out. We would rather see it after the fact than have you put yourselves in danger in the middle of the storm just to get the report to us. So we'll go back to radar though. Again, that is going to be the website for that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report, or you can also send it to us on social media. Going back to radar though. We'll take a look at hail tracker. And I'm still showing that core near the Eaton Rapids area. Maybe actually latest scan might be backing off just a touch, but still some hail potential showing near the Petryville area. Now we'll continue to move off to the southeast. Again, this scan's a bit delayed, unfortunately. This is the 559 scan. At least on this software. I can actually look behind the scenes though at another source. And that continues to show what I'm suggesting. Maybe still some hail potential, although it's backing off a little bit as well. But again, as the hail core backs off, that's being pushed down to the ground as it collapses. So therefore, we could be seeing increasing damaging wind potential with this storm as well. Let me go to velocity real quick, and I can kind of see it there, just a bit. Maybe towards the southeast of Eaton Rapids there is where my guess
I'd
it would
agree.
be. Unfortunately, we're looking a little bit higher up in the storms too. I believe this is, yeah, around 4,000 feet, at least from the Grand Rapids radar. So that as it collapses,
Detroit's about the same.
yeah. So as it collapses, just because it doesn't look as strong as on radar here at this level, that does not mean it's not 50, 60 mile per hour at the surface. So again,
Holy smokes! I was just looking at the storms near Chicago there, and I was not expecting to see 80-mile-per-hour velocities less than 1,000 feet off the surface. But I think that might be a little bit of contamination there.
Yeah, that could be. They did just continue that warning, but that's only at 60, so.
Yeah, I think that's contamination. I was just not expecting that.
No problem. So, okay, they are allowing the severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Ingham County. That's being allowed to expire. So, northeastern Ingham County, so the Williamston area, you are clear at least from the severe thunderstorm potential of this storm as it's starting to weaken, but we are still showing heavy rain with this storm, as that will continue along with lightning. And as it's still not moving all that quickly, we still need to be concerned about flooding potential, especially along the I-96 corridor there in Williamston there.
Yeah, remember that flood advisory remains in effect, so.
Yeah. For the Meridian area back towards Williamston and Okemos as well. So that means we only have one active severe thunderstorm warning with us, at least at this point in time. And that is primarily for southeastern Eaton, far southeastern portions of Eaton County, and the Ingham County's southwestern portions. And that is with this storm we've been continuing to watch over the last several minutes. Moving out of the Eaton Rapids area now, kind of toward just north of the Onondaga area, towards the Eden and Leslie areas down the line. North Aurelius, this cell's just to your south. However, we still have cloud around lightning being detected in your area, so you'll still want to remain inside. Even the heaviest part of the storm staying off to your south, at least on radar. And again, this continues with this severe thunderstorm warning primarily for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Although, as of the last update, penny-sized hail continues to be possible with this storm as well. So, and we'll take a general reset across all of West Michigan. Our main focus as of right now continues to be these storms around the Lansing area, back towards the Sunfield area in Lake Odessa. We're continuing to watch these storms. We only have one active. Ignore this warning in northeastern Ingham County. That has been allowed to expire, and that will drop off the screen in just a few minutes. But our active severe thunderstorm warning continues to be for southwestern Ingham and far, far southeastern Eaton County. And then we also continue for the next 20 minutes a special weather statement. Although I think this cell's even starting to back off, really, too, in my opinion. Just some heavier rain there, potentially the southwest of Portland, towards the Sunfield and Mulliken areas, up towards the Sebawa corners and West Sebawa areas as well. Just some heavier rain and lightning, but unlikely to be severe at this point. Maybe still some gusty winds just with the special weather statement there, but nothing particularly concerning with this storm on radar. The velocity, just to be sure. Yeah, not really see anything concerning there, so.
Yeah.
And then
the stuff on the other side of the lake continues to weaken as well, so.
Yeah. I mean, tentatively, I don't want to say completely zero because we've had surprises thrown at us before. But once we get these pop-up storms to quiet down as we head towards evening, as we lose the daytime eating after sunset, I think these cells will start to ramp down in intensity, and then unless these storms flare back up as they get on the other side of the lake, which I don't think is particularly likely, but I'm not going to fully rule it out. I do think the severe threat of these storms, at least for our area, will be decreasing as well, at least at this point in time. So,
Yep.
so
Yeah, Cape is already decreasing. We're down to 3,000 for areas south of I-94, which is still a lot, but it's not nearly that 4,500 we were seeing earlier.
Yeah, if these storms are avoiding that, that's not
right.
Not gonna, just because we had that instability there. If the storms aren't there to use it, then kind of negates that. So yeah, the only severe thunderstorm warning locally at this point continues to be for, at this point, mainly southwestern Ingham County, but even then, now this storm is not looking as impressive, quite as impressive as it was either in the last couple scans. So take a look at velocity again real quickly, though. If there's going to be damaging wind, primarily to the north of Onondaga area, although I'm watching an area near the Resley and Eden areas that could be very, very broad rotation. Nothing suggests tornadic potential, really, but primarily maybe another area of gustier winds as well. Near the Eden area, that'll be heading towards the Dansville State Game area and the Wheel Inn Campground. Let me just take a look at Hail Tracker real quickly. Not extremely impressive, but maybe some small hail there near the Dansville State Game area to the southwest of Dansville there. Again, not that impressive. This is a little bit delayed too, of course, but looking at a little bit later scan behind the scenes concurs with that. Maybe some small hail potential there, but unlikely severe at this point. But that could also be producing some gustier winds there as well. So other than that, not a whole lot going on at this point across West Michigan outside of these storms. We are showing a few showers across our northeastern areas, kind of our northeastern areas along the 127 corridor from Alma towards Wheeler, points northwest of there. Maybe some light rain activity, but nothing close to severe of that. Not even detecting any lightning at this point, so at least in this area. So again, our main focus continues to be our lone severe thunderstorm warning. Although if this weakening trend continues, I would not be surprised to see this get dropped. It actually expires in the next 15 minutes or so we'll see what they do with that. But again, we do continue with a severe thunderstorm warning. I know Eaton County, southeastern Eaton County, the Eaton Rapids area, you're technically still in it, but the storm is mainly off to your east now, down and back east in the southern portions of Ingham County. And that, again, primarily is for the remaining potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. The hail potential, at least in this area, based on latest data, I think is backing off as well. So
yeah, it's all really falling apart.
So, and again, this trend will continue as we get closer and past sunset. These pop-up storms, I think, will tend to go away. So, and then we'll kind of have to watch what this does behind the scenes. But even the concern for this, at least of current trends, is decreasing as well. So, at least to some extent. So, a whole lot to talk about here. Let's take a little more look at Hail Tracker, see if we got a newer scan. 604, it's about 10 minutes old though, but okay, so again, we are monitoring some small hail potential near the Dansville area, and I would not be surprised to see at least a statement go out for that shortly. But again, nothing extremely concerning with this storm as we go to velocity just to make sure. Again, nothing super concerning there, but maybe some gustier winds as our severe thunderstorm warning falls off the screen. I think they did just cancel the warning for southwest Ingham County. And they did. They just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Ingham and southeastern Eaton counties. The storm, which prompted the warning, has weakened below severe limits and no longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. However, lightning and heavy rain are still possible with this thunderstorm. So again, we now have no active warnings across our coverage area. We're going to continue to watch this storm behind the scenes in southern Ingham County just in case it decides to flare up again. And then we will still be watching this activity off to our northwest as that does eventually move towards our area, just in case it does decide to ramp back up to some extent. The likelihood of that is looking rather unlikely at this point, but can never fully rule it out. But at this point, we have no active severe thunderstorm warnings. We do continue with a couple special weather statements technically, although that's the first special weather statement here. There's not much going on there. So really our main focus in the short term is going to be the southern Ingham County cell. And then over the next few hours, what happens with this activity to our northwest, moving over the lake now. So, Jonah, do you have any input to put in real quick? Or
no, I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything going on. That flood advisory aside, so I know you mentioned that special weather statement. There's some rain showers occurring there for the eastern half of that special weather statement, but that is about it. And again, that stuff over the lake and to Wisconsin, or in Wisconsin, I should say, not on Wisconsin. Very tired. In Wisconsin is continuing to weaken. So overall, I'm pretty optimistic that we will not see a continued severe threat. But we'll continue to watch it.
Yep. So again, just a reminder one more time, for those of you, especially if you were in the severe thunderstorm warnings that started here near the Freeport area, across far southeastern Kent County and the portions of Ionia, Berry, and Eaton counties, and then further off to the east in the Ingham counties and southeastern Eaton there. If you have any storm reports to pass along to us, damage reports, or anything of that nature to pass along, feel free to do so. Again, primarily at this point, we're looking for hail, any wind gusts you may have potentially measured, or flooding, especially flooding with the heavy rainfall rates and storm-related damage, like if you have trees down, or something of that nature. Feel free to let us know. You can do that on social media, through our social media platforms, or on our website. The website link to do that is going to be www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Repeating, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. And this is also going to be completely optional, but if you want to support our efforts at West Michigan Weather, you can we do accept donations. They are not required at all. We would never require that for severe weather coverage or anything of that nature. But if you want to help support our efforts here at West Michigan Weather, you can do so at www.westmichiganweather.net/donate. Again, that is going to be www.westmichiganweather.net/donate, where you can help support our efforts here at West Michigan Weather. Every dollar you donate to us goes right back into our operations here at West Michigan Weather. So that helps pay for our radar software, our streaming capabilities, and when we do go out in the field, supports that as well. So again, fully optional, but we would greatly appreciate it if you feel the generosity to do so.
It comes with some perks. We do occasional forecast updates for our subscribers and community supporters. You get special access to our school closing outlooks, which are coming up very shortly, actually. So you get special early access to those outlooks, which get thousands of views when we have big events. So it definitely comes with its perks as well. But again, it's totally optional. So
yeah. But again, we would greatly appreciate it. One more time, that's going to be www.westmichiganweather.net/donate. That's where you're going to go to do that. All right, so I think that's about it. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So,
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here, and we'll still be here behind the scenes monitoring everything through the evening hours, especially as these storms off to our northwest generally approach our area over the coming hours. But at this point, this is Jacob Melton along with Jonah Drake here with West Michigan Weather. Thanks for tuning in with us. Stay with West Michigan Weather. We will keep you advised throughout the evening hours in case we do have any additional severe weather.